Awesome. Welcome, everyone, to Cisco Virtual Kitchen, or SVK. You want to call it whatever you like. We got a great show, which we are quoting and calling it Saddledome a la carte podcast. Right? So I'm super excited. Today we have, first of all, a legend. And yes, Chef Brandi, I'm calling you a legend. On the show today from the Saddledome. And we also have our sous chef today. And I'm going to get her to introduce Chef Carte, and we'll get to know these amazing people and the insights of what happens in. And I'm going to bring you guys up on the screen here, if I can hit the right button. And just give me a second. There it is. There's the right button. All right. So first of all, thank you both for being on your show on our network. There we go, Brandi.
Thanks. Nice to be here again so soon.
Nice to be again. You learned so much last time about what you do at the Saddledome, and I'm still kind of in it because I don't think you guys. I think you guys order it somewhere and you bring it in and you just reheat it. Because
no.
You guys do too much over there. That'd be a nice thing, though. No, it's incredible what you guys do. And first of all, it's just an honor to both of you to be on our show today. And for everyone that's watching us on TikTok, you can also watch us on YouTube Live right now. And we're also on Facebook, LinkedIn, a whole bunch of other places too. That you can just watch our show today or watch it on demand on all those channels later on too when you get a chance. So, Chef Brandi, who's this guy beside you? Who's this guy?
So this guy is the sous chef Grant McIsaac. He's worked with us for 7 years, 8 years now. So Grant runs the concessions, everything that you see on the concourse, plus a couple of other places around the building. So I'll let him speak a little bit more about it. But just wanted to take this opportunity to kind of shed some light into some other areas of the building and what we do at the Saddledome.
That's really cool. That is really cool. So you create all the food that we love, Chef Grant. Like, not saying the other food we don't love, but the stuff that we go there and we go, oh man, and we just go crazy on it. Can you tell us? Like, first of all, thank you, because I love all the food you guys make there. I do want to talk about a little about your industry because Chef Brandi was talking about her past and her relationship to the industry, and you know what, it probably inspired a few others that may want to jump into the industry as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your background, Chef Grant?
I started a little bit younger for sure. Actually, when I was in high school, I ended up on a work experience program at the Hyatt Hotel, and
nice.
Things worked out really well there. I actually ended up staying at Hyatt Hotel for 9 years. And then after that was another hotel. I did Delta for a little while. Went kind of to the private sector for a few years. And then that actually ended up being here. A little bit not different from hotels.
Did you ever think you'd be a sous chef at the Saddledome?
Never once. Honestly, I didn't know much about the Saddledome. Like, I knew all the basic stuff, but I didn't realize how much stuff is actually here until even I started working here. So I think that's one of the biggest things. People don't know what we have, like all the different options and what we're actually serving. Even if you're on the concourse, everyone knows our hot dogs, burgers, whatnot, but the specialty stands that we have all the way around that during an intermission, it's crowded up here. I get it. People aren't always traveling around the concourse. So seeing what's actually up here and the options we have, I never pictured how much stuff actually goes on here.
So what's the craziest item that you guys serve up there?
What's right
crazy
now,
from your perspective. I say crazy. I think it's all crazy because it's so good.
Something that's a little crazy, a little fun. Right now, we're actually serving a pork lollipop.
Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
A what?
Pork belly lollipop. We actually break it down. We sous vide it for 24 hours. Then we cook it off again with a cherry cola barbecue sauce right off the stick. That's probably one of the craziest items on the concourse today.
No way.
And it's amazing.
We talked about innovation, Brandi, last time, and I think that's where those ideas come from. That's wicked. That is so wicked. Yeah. So, as a sous chef, share with some of those biggest accomplishments that you've had in the past, let's say.
We're talking about here?
Yeah.
Probably transformation of the concourse. Now, what I mean by that is, so when I first started up in quick service, we weren't as heavily involved then. We didn't have a lot of specialty areas, right? We always have our basics. You'll have your hot dogs, burgers, your pizza, whatnot. But in the last 5 years, we've created a lot more destination spots on the concourse, right? So we've opened up stuff like we've started an entirely vegan stand, which was an undertaking on its own.
Hey, hold it. We're going to talk about. Let me. Where's my pen? We got to talk about that because that is easy cool. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, we're doing the Coca-Cola test kitchen now. For that, we change that menu every single month, and that's kind of our main playground. But we have a taco and tequila stand that we're serving fresh tacos out of. They're fantastic. We have at Bandit Peak, we're doing craft nachos, where we have like mole pork nachos. We have a chili de árbol nachos, all baked to order, not just your regular dipping cheese stuff. We have a rotisserie where we do fresh chicken every single game, sauteed vegetables, roasted potatoes. Like, we actually have tons of options.
Yeah.
Not everyone knows about it. Did you know about all those?
I didn't. I honestly didn't know.
Case, right? It's hard to get people educated on that, moving around the concourse and seeing these options. You know, we're starting to move into like that social media area where we're trying to show off these areas and where they're at, just to kind of invite people to come here and go, oh, I'm going to try that. I saw it.
That is why Chef Brandi has her own podcast.
To showcase all of these things.
Exactly.
And we change, a bunch of the items every year as well. And even throughout the year, we have the opportunity to be able to change some of the items throughout the year with our digital menus and things like that as well. So it's quite a nice opportunity to showcase different things and try out different things and see what people want.
I'm blown away. So now I'm not going to point fingers because I'm a Calgary boy too. You guys probably have the best menus in all the arenas, right? North America.
I like to think so anyway.
I think you. Well, there's two things I think comes from that. Is great leadership. So you have to have someone, I think, in the spirit of Chef Brandi and what you bring to bring that level of different ideas and different things. So I think it's a big part of everyone. You must have an amazing team, and your leadership, Brandi, allowing you guys to do those things. That's crazy cool.
For sure.
So cool. So walk us through a typical day there, Sous Chef Grant.
So we get up at 7 a.m. No, I don't. For myself personally, it's more of an afternoon thing.
You go to bed on those days, man.
Later.
Let's go back to that. Like, what time's bedtime, though?
What's that?
What's time's bedtime on those days? You get up at 7 in the morning.
Well, we don't get it. Yeah, exactly. So afternoon start. Usually first thing you come in, I have a team that are here actually at 8 in the morning that kind of start the day going. That's anywhere from starting to make the pizza dough to getting all the items ready for that evening. So first things first is going around, just making sure everyone's on point there, that we have everything moving along, that on our timeline is right, so that we're ready to open for door open. From there, it's just going over our inventory, checking orders, making sure I have enough everything for the next game. Small things like from your pretzels and churros, right, to your pork butts and stuff, so we can make the mole pork for the next day. Making our par stocks. Like, we have to do a lot of math up here just to plan for the thousands of every item that we sell. So it's kind of going over all those par items, making sure everything's ready and we're set up for door open, because that's the most important thing. Ready for door open when the guests arrive. From there, it's we start checking in our cooks. Like on an average Flames game, we're running 65 to 70 cooks alone on the concourse.
Okay, repeat that. 60 to 70 on a game night? Brandi, that's the brigade downstairs.
Nope, nothing downstairs. That's just concourse.
Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah, it's with all the different stands we have. It takes a lot of hands to help put that stuff out. So even something as simple as our burger and brew stand. It's a burger, yes, but when you're producing 1,200 in service, which is less than 3 hours,
and they're all made fresh and as close to order as possible, and everything else. So It takes a lot of hands.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's crazy. You guys are crazy. That's all I'm saying. You guys are crazy. That is
Right?
amazing.
But
It's
that's just going around. You have to check. You're trying to keep an eye also on 21 smaller kitchens here, right?
so how do you do that, Chef?
At the same time, just
Chef,
if the
how
sauce
do you
isn't
do
right
that?
over
How do
here,
you
or the protein isn't perfect over here. It's just a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving around to try and make sure the guest is getting everything that we want them to have, what we want to showcase to them.
So that must come from experience, right? Like you didn't just do that.
Yeah.
That must come from the experience you have, right?
That's not something you jump into.
You
I
just
guarantee you, it would be very, very difficult to
But at the
just
same time,
jump in.
you don't really see exactly something like this anywhere else. So it's a lot of using other experiences from other places and running, the hotels. I know Grant ran a bunch of large functions and things where there's things everywhere. So that experience definitely puts into it. But we always say you don't actually know this business here until you're actually in it. It's very difficult to describe sometimes.
I said it myself. I'm like, oh yeah, we used to do functions for 5,000 people, like the really crazy ones. No problem. This should be a walk in the park. No, it's completely different. And it also jumped up to 18,000. So night and day. Wow. Definitely you get the basics of, leading your group and planning, organizing, doing those numbers, but jumping in, actually doing it, whole new beast.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So how do you? Well, other chefs that are out there. I always love having chefs like yourself, both yourselves on the show, to share the inspiration of getting others. What is some advice if people are looking at, maybe coming working at the Saddledome and working with you guys? What are you looking for in people? What do you look for in people to say, you know what, you're going to be awesome on here and be a part of our team?
The ability probably to multitask and move, like to keep yourself organized. So with the amount of people that we have, if they aren't keeping themselves organized, there's no way we'll keep a stand organized, a restaurant organized, or the whole stadium. We really look for those people that can handle the situation, the pressure, and stay calm and keep moving forward. That's one of the bigger things that when we're interviewing that I kind of look for.
Now, what about experience cooking? Is that more important, or is all these other traits more important than maybe the experience of cooking?
It depends where you're applying. For me personally, so if I'm looking for a stand cook, I will bring in a lot of people that don't have experience yet. I have a lot of people that are in high school still, coming here for their first job. It's a perfect part-time job for them, right? It's just that after-school lull. And here's a chance where they will get to see something super fast-paced, right? They'll get to learn in a burger and brew. And we kind of compartmentalize it to get them started. Like we have one person that might just butter burger buns for 2 hours as fast as they possibly can, right? So they're kind of building up, getting that kind of experience, and then they'll move to the burgers and whatnot, assembling. So experience for me on my end isn't number one for sure. It's attitude in the people.
Same with you, Brandi?
Depending on, again, which kitchen that you're working in, we love to bring in new people that don't have a lot of experience. But, we do have to definitely hire people with the experience as well to help support those new people even. Having a whole kitchen full of people that haven't really cooked before is, it's quite difficult, I guess I could say. But that being said, like we do love to be able to be, one of the first places that someone does have a job in the kitchen. Even whether you stay in the kitchen or not, it's a great opportunity to get your foot in the door in the Saddledome in any way, or even just in the industry, or, to be able to say that you worked in these environments in any job is a good skill set in my opinion anyway. So to be able to deal with pressure and fast pace and environments and, working with a very diverse group of people in different areas.
Well, I think just wearing that badge you guys get to wear is pretty cool. Like like I always talk. I said about this last time with Chef Brandi, is that that to have that brand on your chef jacket has got to be pretty good when you put it on every day.
For sure, yeah.
Exactly. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. There's not too many chefs that have that on their jackets, I'll tell you that.
Definitely.
So I'm going to ask you, maybe I'll throw this both to you, back both to you. Either or can answer this question first. How do you guys handle some feedback from customers or people that are enjoying your food? Do you ever get feedback on what they think about your food, and how do you handle that?
Definitely. I mean, to me, it's very important to get feedback from the customers because really that's why we're here. It's to make the guests happy and to, put out what they're looking for. So I would just say the best thing is to get constructive feedback. If you don't like something, please let us know why. It's definitely a part of what we do is taking what people are wanting or even their feedback of, hey, I had this situation happen to me. We love the idea of being able to make that better. We're always striving to be the best that we can. So having that type of feedback can really push us to and notice things that maybe we missed. Because like I said, it is a very large building and we can't be everywhere at once. So it's great, to be able to have that feedback as well because of that.
Yeah, Chef Grant, you must get feedback. People going up, we need more butter on the popcorn. Or this.
We get a lot of feedback from our guests. We get a lot of feedback from our internal guests. All the other managers will come and try our new menu items, and they'll always let me know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do get from external. I love it when we get the compliments, or they actually even recognize. They even say us, like, I saw these guys hustling, and great burger that I had, or this taco is amazing. But the negative is important too. I mean, we can't fix it if we don't know. If we miss some, or I see a trend, something happen here, it allows us to kind of zero in at least and make sure I don't get those comments anymore. Right? That's the goal.
Well, I wanted to talk about it because I think when chefs get into the industry or people coming into the industry, and I've met a lot of chefs that cannot take feedback very well, right? And I'm sure you all know who exactly, you've all experienced that as well.
Sometimes it's not easy, but it's still important. So
it's important. You're right. It's not easy either. And to have chefs that are able to take it and go, you know what, let's do something with it, or not they don't know what they're talking about as a customer kind of attitude, which I've heard too. I've probably done it myself. It.
Super important. If we don't fix it, if we don't move forward, well, we're just going to be stuck. We'll be that dingy old place, right? So
exactly.
Definitely take it, use it. We use it as a tool. It's a tool for us, basically.
So I want to go back here because one of the other questions I had here on my list is where do you guys get your inspiration from? I'm not sure if I asked Chef Brandi this last time. Where do you get your inspiration from? Because something had a trigger to put a vegan stand in Cowtown.
That was
yeah, that was part of the feedback situation.
Curious.
It was that one just because we're on that one in particular because I remember when that one came up and we had a lot of different conversations about it because we didn't know how popular it would be. Is it just for a select group of people? Do we want to commit a whole stand to it? But for that, because we did hear that we needed more healthier options and vegan options or even vegetarian options on the concourse. So, and it was a much bigger success than any of us imagined it would be, actually. So
it's actually fairly steady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like feedback, because I've never seen that before. I've never heard of that before for an arena, let alone
getting veggie with it on the concourse.
I love it. What do you serve there? What's some of the items that you serve?
So on the menu currently, we have nachos and cheese, but we make a vegan cheese sauce that looks just like the other one. It tastes similar, but different. Definitely different. We're also doing a crispy potato with like a pico de gallo and a vegan cream sauce on it. We have a power bowl right now. So it has rice, pickled ginger, pickled cucumber. We do jackfruit that we actually sous vide with Thai peanut sauce. So it has that texture of a protein. So it has that kind of that bite to it. And then we garnish that with green onions and different garnishes. We're doing vegan hot dogs, of course, with a vegan chili dog as well. And we got a vegan burger that has like a balsamic glazed tomato on it. And just a bunch of different items like that we're playing around with.
That does not sound like your typical menu. That sounds crazy good. It sounds
And we
crazy.
actually have people that come and try, like we used to have bibimbap on the menu, and the Power Bowl that we're doing that eat it. They know it's vegan, but they enjoy it that much. So that's a good sign for us.
So where do you get inspiration for different dishes like that, chef? Where do you get inspired?
The place, man.
Do you watch TV? Do you watch the network?
Yeah, you know.
Or do you social? Yeah. Sorry?
Literally from anywhere and everywhere. For me, especially for some of the stuff that we're playing around with up here.
Yeah.
Actually, we're serving a sausage roll right now in one of our test kitchen stands, and it comes with a Dijon spice ketchup. And the only reason why I even thought of doing that sauce is literally listening to the radio, and it was that if I had $1 million, they talk vegan craft dinner and fancy ketchup. Dijon ketchup. I'm like,
are you kidding me?
Let's do it. So we threw it on the menu. See, it can come from the most crazy places. Just random.
You know what's funny by that is I had a show the other day, and someone else said that they were inspired by that song on another dish.
Really?
That's hilarious.
I'm not kidding you. I can't figure out who that was. I can't remember. That's really cool.
Sometimes you wake up and I don't know, you dreamt about something weird, and if you remember to write it down, because you forget later, and stuff like I don't know. I mean, obviously, you see, we're always trying to check out other restaurants. What are they doing, or what's trending? You know, we're not copying anything, but seeing where something's kind of floating, what area, and try and do something a little different of our own, or keeping your hand on the pulse. You know, we like to go out for our dinners every so often, just to keep in touch with what's going on.
Now, I want to throw this to Brandi because, Chef, you mentioned trends. I want to ask this from Brandi because I get, this is trend season right now. Because this is the season that every magazine and every person out there puts out a trends report and says, this is the trends for 2023. Brandi, do you listen? Do you read those? Do you look at those? Do you take something from it? Or is it just like, it's good, it's not, I'm doing what I do by more, grassroots way of finding the trends? Do you do that? Are those useful?
They are. They really are. Some you take everything with a grain of salt, and then also how you can work it into what you're doing. Some don't necessarily translate to, or at least everywhere in this venue. But I know, for example, at one time we were getting these magazines from Australia because they're seasons ahead of us. So we were seeing what was in their fall season to our fall season, and things like that. That was kind of interesting to see how even things in different world, in a different part of the world, is trending ahead of you before it even gets to Canada, and things like that. But it's definitely important to look at. But it's also, I like to turn it on its head and say, well, what trend can we maybe start, or can we take that trend and make it our own? Because I mean, you want to be part of the times, but you also want to be innovative and try something totally different.
Yeah,
I think where everyone else is. I mean, even on the concourse, especially we were using ciabatta or whatever for a couple sandwiches, and then every restaurant, even McDonald's, had ciabatta all of a sudden. It's like, no, we're taking this off. Now we're trying to be a little different, and when everything else starts to catch on too, no, time to change it up, right?
Well, even a couple of years ago, where this is quite a few years ago, I guess now, where pulled pork came back on the scene. It was everywhere, and we were like, we're gonna be great, or we're gonna smoke our own pork, and we had it in all of these areas because you get really excited about it. But by the end of the season, you're kind of over it. Okay, let's do something different now, because it just gets oversaturated too. When it is a trend, it gets so oversaturated that everybody has it. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember those pulled pork years.
Right?
I remember those. You're right. It was on everything, right? And then they were putting it on pizza. They were putting it on nachos. They were putting it was pulled pork nachos, pulled pork poutine. It was everywhere. There's that stuff on everything, right? So I totally agree. So I want to just kind of, as we wrap up here, and first of all, I just want to thank you again for being on the show today and sharing all this great stuff that we don't know about what happens at the Saddledome. And I'm blown away that you guys offer, you have a vegan sandwich. There's got to be a first. for arenas out there. What happens when you go to other arenas? I'm sure you guys have been to other arenas and you see food there. What do you think when you see stuff that
Good.
is out there?
No, it's actually awesome because
Yeah?
they have usually. Okay, I haven't gone to a lot, but recently I went to the Edmonton one, and it's good to see what they're doing just to because they have a completely different idea of how maybe things should be run, how
That's
they
cool.
want to present their food, and some of the items that they do. And you kind of step back and you kind of watch and say, "Oh, okay, I didn't think about doing it that way, and that might be all right." Or you can look at something like, "That's really unsuccessful. Don't do that." Right? It actually helps to go around and see their train of thought. Like it helps you learn, helps us for sure.
I think that's so important, and I think that's so cool that you can get that different experience and different products at different arenas. But I think the cool thing also is that I really think you guys are changing the food at arenas for good. Like I don't think you can go back. Like I don't think other places are going to look at this. You guys are really revolutioning. That's not a word. I don't know if that's even a word, but is I also make words up, by the way. Uh, you guys are really changing it. So that's incredible. It must feel pretty good knowing that you guys are changing. It's difficult too, I would assume as well, because you're paving a road at the same time as changing it, right?
It's can be risky because you don't figuring out exactly what the guest wants and what will sell is not always easy. That's why we have our Coca-Cola test kitchen. As it's our playground, the one that we change once a month. That's where we do test out different items to see what the public wants to buy, what will sell, and what maybe we'll put into another stand somewhere else along the way. And I mean, we did tenderloin sliders out of there just to see if we could sell actual grilled tenderloin on the concourse. It sold great. We sold lots.
I love it.
You know what? Not a huge seller on the concourse. Not a lot of people are grabbing their beers and a tray of sushi. But yeah, right?
You had to try it, right? You had to try it. So I have to ask you on this. So is there another one that maybe didn't work that you were like, man, I swear I was going to make it, but it didn't? You can share? What was one?
Well, and again, maybe it was because it was a trend that kind of died out. But I was a bit surprised. So we had a grilled cheese and mac and cheese stand.
Okay. I would personally think that would be a winner.
I had assumed that it would be great, and I mean it did pretty good in the beginning, but it kind of just died out, and that's where I think it might have been one of those trend situations where you were getting all those grilled cheese restaurants popping up and things like that.
Saturation of grilled cheese everywhere,
right? Or it can even sometimes be here that it's a great trend, but they come here because they want something even. They don't imagine that they want a grilled cheese in sitting and watching a hockey game. So we have to look at those types of things too, and what fits into what the customer wants when they're sitting and watching a game or a concert.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just get tired of some things too. Eventually, like we do have a good amount of season ticket holders that come to the games, and we have a lot of fans. Like even walking the concourse, I could actually recognize people are constantly here. So I think they're just always looking for change too. So I think we don't have anything on the concourse that's more than 3 years old right now. Like we're trying to refresh stands and bring new things in and just change it up so that it's not the same thing for them every time.
Do you also look at the beverage side quite a bit and put that into the factor of the foods?
No, we have a dedicated beverage team that does that. I mean, we'll collab and stuff like tacos and tequila, obviously. I want to do a taco. I want to do margaritas. Let's do this kind of stuff like that. Bandit Peak is a good example. They have all their craft beers in a beautiful stand in the middle of the concourse. So craft nachos. So let's kind of pair stuff together like that. So a little bit, we work with beverage. If we're doing a special menu, we did a bao bun menu in the Coca-Cola test kitchen. And so we brought in Kura and Ichiban on draft. So just to kind of ties things together for sure.
That's so cool. You guys have a cool job. You guys do. I still want one of those jackets, by the way, Chef Brandi.
You have to come and do a shift.
I know. Well, is that the rule? Okay. I'll come and do a shift one of these days soon. But first of all, thank you again. I'm just speechless all the time. Is finding out so much of what you guys do is not what people think. Absolutely. We got to call this something else about really the insider scoop on what you guys do, because it's crazy, amazing. So thank you again for being on the show today. I always ask this, Chef, both of you, last tidbits of advice for young people out there that want to be joining our industry. We can do like the super fast few seconds. What's your answer on that?
Try it out.
Mhm.
Go into it, see if you like it, and then decide from there. Don't go in saying, yeah, I'm going to be a chef one day. Go in, see how it works, do the job, then make your decision. See if you love it or not so much.
Can you, I'm going to just ask the last question. Can you learn to love it, or do you just got to love it?
Well, sometimes you don't know if you love it. So when I started out, I started at a Red Robin, and I had no idea that I enjoyed it. I liked the rush is what got me into it. And then I just kept going. But if I never would have done that work experience I had in high school, I don't know that I'd be in this industry. So that's where I think I don't know that you can learn to love it, but sometimes you don't know if you love it until you do it.
100%.
Was that Kensington? Red Robin?
I grew up in BC, so it was in.
I was gonna say it wasn't that one.
I did work at one.
Yeah,
when I moved to Calgary, I worked at the Kensington one. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. I miss my Calgary. Anyways, well, thanks again, both of you. To everyone else, you know what? We're gonna have Chef Brandi back again, because I just love chatting with you. And thanks again, Sous Chef Grant, for being on the show today and really giving us this inspiration, different ideas, just what's happening behind there. You guys blow it away. Plant-based stand in Calgary. Unheard of. Unbelievable. So thanks again to everyone else. We're back again tomorrow. Later today, also, we're going to have a later night show, but tomorrow we're back again at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So thanks again, both of you, and to everyone else, tune in anytime you want or on demand. All right. We'll see you guys later. Cheers.